Okay. Sorry about the long wait, everybody. Just getting stuff ready here. So, and yes, that was a bit of a long wait. Hopefully, though, it sounds better. There will be no music on this one. I'm still trying to figure out how to work the music situation. The last time I went live, felt like the music was making everything else sound very tinny, it didn't sound good to me. So, um, hey Morgan H, how are you doing? So yeah, with that being said, again, I am sorry. I am a little bit late. But let's get to shuffling these cards. Morgan H, is this your first time on the channel? Because it's my first time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm full of jokes, in case you're wondering. Not good ones, but I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Was having a hard time setting up the stream, but we got it ready. And yeah, so we're good now. Awesome. Nice to meet you too. It's always nice to have a new person, fresh take on the channel. So I hope you enjoy kind of seeing how I work here. We do have a cat. Nope, this way. Well, perfect. Then we're going to get along just fine. There are cats that come up and eat up here. We have lights in the background. There's paper over here. We have everything that you need. So, but yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Morgan, if you don't mind. I'm just going to be shuffling the cards here. Oh, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that, my friend. I definitely appreciate that. How does, now, hold on a second. Let me get these cards going here. Okay, one more shuffle. There we go. I've got 3 different decks that I'm using here, Morgan, so for entertainment for the most part. Well, then you somewhat came to the right channel. Sometimes it's entertaining, sometimes, well, let's just say it's interesting for me, I guess, you know. So here's what we're using, Morgan. We got this right here. We got our Energy Oracle cards, followed by, these ones are the Fountain Tarot, right here. Really good deck. And then we have this one, which is one of my favorite decks. Not the easiest to shuffle, but it's a really good deck to use. This here is the True Black Tarot. Hey, Kiru, how you doing? So True Black Tarot is gorgeous here. I'll show you one of the cards that I really like, if you don't mind, Morgan. Let me see here. Now that we got the new, kind of the new, better camera setup, you should be able to see a lot more details. Like, for instance, this is part of my head. This is not a hat. If you pick a scab too much, this is what happens, so don't do that. I'm doing good, Kiru. I am doing great. Had a hard time getting the stream started, but we're ready to go here, so let me see what we got here. Trying to show Morgan here, a new subscriber, one of my favorite cards, and it's clear back at the bottom, I'm thinking. Well, this is a good one. So it's going to sound weird. I like the devil card, but this devil is cool. So So if I hold it about like that, and then you can kind of see details. Very pretty card. Oh, Kiru, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened. Hey, Amber, how are you doing? Seems like there's been a lot of things falling through. Okay, this is the card. This is the card that I like. So this one, I'm thinking of getting this because I have the magician one in my room as like a little picture piece. But this one's really pretty. So this is Temperance. Okay, I gotta get my face out of the camera and then you can kind of see. It's very beautiful cards. Very nice. Very good deck. Anyway, so let's commence the shuffling here. Let's see what we can come up with. Credit back for your tickets, but not the money. See, that stinks. But maybe there's another place you've been wanting to. So this is the True Black Tarot deck, is what it's called. True Black Tarot. It goes in and out of stock. They are works of art and very thick. The card stock is super thick, and each of the cards has. So this isn't a pattern. This isn't just a pattern. You can see the way the light kind of goes off of it. It's actually kind of engraved. Is that sort of the word you would use? Very good deck, and it comes in this too. So I only really like tarot decks when they come in like a nice box that has a magnetic kind of lid. You're very welcome. Yeah, True Black Tarot, really good deck to start with, or two, maybe not to start with, but a really good deck to have in the collection, so to speak. So Morgan, what we like to do on the channel first is, well, we wait about 3 hours until I get really hungry, and then I just complain about that for the rest. No, so I do general readings first, and then I can do more specific readings. But for now, I'm going to focus more on the general. So for everyone tuning in now, I started very late. I got this new graphic up here that I was making, and then yeah, and also I'm going to say this right now, you guys. If you do go to other YouTubers, okay, if they have Cashapp or PayPal, even if it's a little extra for you to go through and pay instead of paying through the super chats, do this instead, because this kind of thing right here, if you go to Cashapp or PayPal, they get so much more of the money that way. Super chats, even though they're incredibly appreciated, I don't make hardly anything off of the super chats. And maybe I'll get in trouble for saying that, but yeah, Google, they take 30%, and then on top of that, there's taxes and there's fees, and so you don't make hardly anything off of it. And they keep taking money from me, so that's why we're doing this. Just throwing that out there. And for other people that are on the platform as well, that's what I'm trying to say. It helps support them more. Okay, let's shuffle these ones. Hey, Fruity Bear. Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous for sure. Like, and thank you for the donation, Fruity Bear. So, yeah, it's one of those things I found out. I keep getting to a certain threshold. This has been happening for 2 weeks now. When I go live and people pay for the super chats, Google keeps taking my money from me. So, one night I was doing particularly well, thanks to your guys' support, and then they just came in and they just said no. They don't give me an explanation. They don't tell me anything. And so I'm kind of done with that because, you know, I want you guys, yeah, anyway. Yeah, YouTube takes 50, absolutely. And it's like, man, what is up with that? Patreon, PayPal, all those other things. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But thank you, Fruity Bear. So let me put you on the list here. Hold on. Okay, so we have Amber. So, okay, we have Amber and then we have Fruity Bear on the list. So Amber paid a little bit earlier. And thank you, Fruity Bear, for the 555. I appreciate that, my friend. Well, you guys are awesome. I just appreciate that. I wanted to let you know why this is so awesome, Fruity Bear. I know this is very garish and it sticks out like a sore thumb. I just want people to see this, and this is for other YouTubers as well, just to help support them. Anyway, so we'll have Amber, and then we will have Fruity Bear on the list here. And since I started late, I'm almost wondering if I should just... You want to go later again, Amber? Sure. Yeah, we can do that. No problem. Okay, so now we will have Fruity Bear going first. I think so. Yeah, I think it's pretty good in my opinion. Any other place, and this is the last I'll say about it, I am sorry. Any other place, Patreon that I have, other places that I'm on, you're looking at 5 to maybe 10 or 12%, right? We're not looking at these kinds of numbers. I'm going to just do this. So Fruity Bear, you want to ask your question, my friend? Let's just do that. I was going to do generals, but then I'm thinking if we have time, we can kind of go back into doing generals. Or we can just talk about whatever. I did get a late start. So pitch your question to me, my buddy. Go for it. SY the Scorpio feels about you lately. Okay. Let's do that one. Thank you, Amber. I appreciate that too. I do, and I'm okay with companies taking a percent, but that kind of a percentage, and especially to, I consider myself a smaller creator, that kind of percentage to people that are starting out, that's just not right. That's just not right. But thank you for your kind words, Amber. Okay, so was wondering how SY the Scorpio feels about me lately. Thank you. Let's look at that. All right, Fruity Bear, let's see what we got going on here. How does SY the Scorpio feel about you? Feels about me lately. Let's look. Okay. SY. How does SY feel about you? So we're using Fruity Bear. We're using the True Love Tarot deck right here. This is just the book that comes with it. This is True Love Reading Cards by Belinda Grace. So if you guys are interested in any of these decks that I'm using, let me know so that I can just give you the deck name. There's no affiliate links or anything. I just want you guys to feel free to ask about stuff like that if you want to. Okay, so let's do this here. So we're wondering how SY, the Scorpio, feels about Fruity Bear lately. So here's what I get. We get emotional freedom. Okay. I'll just do this so you can see it up close. There's a horse and a rabbit, or is that a unicorn? No, that's like a Pegasus. So there's a Pegasus and a rabbit and an owl right there. Emotional freedom, that kind of thing. This is the interesting part though, because I drew another card and we get this. So we have the silver waterfall in reverse. So what I feel here is that the person feels a sense of, there's a sense of like emotional clarity for this person right now. When I see the silver waterfall in reverse though, to me it feels like this person didn't take advantage of the situation. I feel like they didn't take advantage of the situation completely. So give me just a second here and let me move my cards over. Let me grab another piece of paper here. So Fruity Bear, and I'm going to make this something that's as clear as I can. I'm still learning as a psychic and as a medium. In fact, I feel like we all are, but I do mean in the sense of like I'm still trying to get my psychic dictionary going, so to speak. The reason I'm saying this is because I'm wondering if I could tune into you psychically for this question. You can feel free to say no, and we can just stick with the cards. But this is what I'm getting, or this is something I try out and I practice. I feel like you're an easygoing person. You're more open, so I feel like you'd be more open to possibly letting me practice. Let me put it that way. So is that a... Okay. All right, so let's do this here. All right, let's try this out here. So very first thing I'm seeing is a popcorn or like a sudden... I'm wondering, with this connection with this person, did it happen suddenly or did it end suddenly? Was there anything like that? Is there like a connection-based thing here? Because when I see popcorn, to me it's like a sudden change, or it's a sudden, if that makes any sense. With this SY individual, I'm just curious about that. New opportunity. Okay, that makes sense. Did they come into your life quickly? I guess that would be something kind of like... I'm addressing what I got, because when I get the popcorn, to me that's kind of... Hi Elizabeth, how are you doing? Hopefully everything's going okay. How are you feeling today? Okay. Came in, new opportunity. So why... This is something that's interesting. So I'm being drawn to a situation where I'm focusing on the ankle, it feels like the Achilles heel. So I'm feeling like there's a pretty strong sense of attraction here, but it feels like maybe the Achilles heel thing was interesting. So I'm going to ask you this, Fruity Bear. First off, is there anything going on with either of your ankles? That's kind of a weird one, right? And if there's not, then the Achilles heel thing, I feel like there could be something where this person kind of he checks the boxes for you, so to speak. So there could be a tendency towards that, if that makes any sense. I'm glad you're feeling a lot better, Elizabeth. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm doing good. I am definitely doing good. Just got started a bit late, but we are cooking with gas now. Let's see what else we get here. Oh, okay. Okay. So then this right here wouldn't be a physical interpretation. I said it, but I'm covering all the bases. So when I see the Achilles heel here, for me, this is kind of like an area where I would almost say we're maybe a sucker for these kinds of people, or we maybe have kind of an interest for these kinds of people, if that makes sense. Kind of like a perfect situation or a perfect storm situation where everything kind of comes together, if that makes sense. So the Achilles heel to me would be kind of being taken off guard, not expecting for anything to happen, and yet it kind of does, sort of suddenly, if that makes sense. Which we had the popcorn there as well, so I think I can get that. And mosquito bites are not fun. So I got the silver waterfall in reverse here, and I'm wondering, Fruity Bear, with this, have you tried reaching out to them in any way, or are they kind of oblivious to the situation? This is something I'm curious. When I see the silver waterfall in reverse, I'm wondering if maybe they're oblivious to the situation, that you're interested, or have you even said anything to them, like even talked to them? That's what I'm curious about. I was going to tell you, Elizabeth, before, uh, right up here, I don't know if you can see this. I don't want to do the super chats anymore because the money doesn't quite go to, a ton of it goes to just Google, but I appreciate you doing that, and I'll still answer your questions, no problem. But I'm just, in the future, Cash App and PayPal if you can. But I really appreciate the money, so thank you so much. Okay, so let me put you on the list here. Oh, no. Unless you can take back the money you've already paid, which I don't know if you can do that. Can you, like, in the future, it was what I was saying. In the future, you don't have to do it now. I'm just saying in the future. Because that's kind of a, yeah. Okay, so Elizabeth, I can put her right here. Give me just a second, Fruity Bear. Let's see, 10. And then, Fruity Bear was 555. Amber was 10. Okay, perfect. Okay. Yes, it's hard to read their face sometimes, but I've caught them looking. Okay. Okay, that's a good sign. We catch them looking, right? Okay, well, it isn't an issue. I was going to send 5 more for another question, so I'll send that and just have it for those 3 instead of the extra 1. If you, okay, so here's what we'll do, Elizabeth, because the list isn't huge now. Here's what we'll do. So if you do the other 5 through PayPal, you can do 4 questions. I'm not going to, you can do all 4 questions, okay? Um, just because you didn't know, and you've been such a help and supporter, and you're a supporter on Patreon, which is amazing, and I appreciate that. So if you just want to do that, you can ask all 4 of your questions, and you don't have to take anything off. This is just for next time, which, you know, it's, I understand this is new. This is all new. Yeah, anyway. No worries there, though, okay? Okay, Fruity Bear, so let me get back to you. Let me see what I can come up with here. So psychically, Fruity Bear, this is something interesting. So I'm tuning into the connection between possibly you and him, and I'm seeing, um, and this is strange, I'm seeing like a UFO kind of situation. I'm seeing something in the sky that is, I don't know. I don't know if you're someone who watches the sky for UFOs, or I don't know if he is too. But it seems like there's something here where I'm looking up at the sky, and there is this kind of craft, or there's something floating. I don't know if you've seen something recently or what's going on, but energetically, when I'm tuning in, there's like a UFO that I'm seeing, like a long, cylindrical, almost like a cigar-shaped craft, but it's like really long and it's up close, which is interesting. Yeah, what's up, buddy? You don't say. This is Yoshi. I'll show you guys. Come here, buddy. Come here. No. This one's Yoshi. He is a good but grumpy boy. All right, buddy. Here you go. And then I'm being called to the stars again, which is interesting. So to at least have some peace with. Okay, that makes sense. In a way. Yes, Yoshi's adorable. He's a good boy. So maybe the feed the squirrels and such. Ah, okay. I'll have to figure out what that means then, because it doesn't mean necessarily what I felt like it meant. So again, that's why I'm practicing still. I'm still learning as we go along. So thank you for letting me practice with that. So let's do this then. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do some more cards here just to see. He's a cute boy. He is a very, very cute boy. Filled with a lot of anger and fun, I guess you could call it. Fanger, if we combine both of them together. And he only has one fang. He ran into a wall and his other tooth fell out. So this was a while ago, but he can't see very well, just like his old man. And yeah. Let me see what I can get here, though, for you, Fruity Bear. Let's look a little bit more on what's kind of going down. It does feel like, so his energy feels more standoffish, and it feels like he's not necessarily the kind to initiate anything, which could be kind of difficult to deal with, but that's what I'm feeling with this energy. Okay, how would I... Okay, so, and then I'm seeing for some reason, my mind likes to think of a sack lunch and correlate that with being alone or being someone who's more of a loner. I don't know if that's something you've noticed about this person. Does he surround himself with people, or is he someone who prefers to be kind of on his lonesome, so to speak? What do you feel with him, Fruity Bear? He won't say much. Okay. So here's something that I'm seeing, Fruity Bear, and tell me, even just generally asking him, right? Right. So it's kind of like I hit my thumb. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. There's a table in front of me you guys can't see because this is blocking it, but anyway. So what I see here, Fruity Bear, is I'm feeling there's a sense of, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me if this makes sense. So I get life purpose with this card here. Life purpose, okay. And then I get love in reverse. Okay. These two cards right here, it's making me feel like maybe we tend to fall for people if we feel like we have to work for it first. And I feel like there's a tendency to really fall for people, especially if it's hard to get their attention. The harder it is to get their attention, or the harder it is to get information from them, the more we want to know. And I feel like we kind of fall harder for that person. Does that make sense, Fruity Bear? Okay, so this is what I'm thinking here with this situation. The way I'm seeing it is I feel like you're a very good person. I love your energy. You seem very kind, very sweet. But I also feel like there's a tendency towards um, kind of maybe letting other people in a way that can be, how can I say this? I feel like you fall fast and I feel like you fall hard when there's someone that you like. Or for some reason, Spirit's telling me someone you enjoy. So it's like this sense of kind of looking at this other person and feeling like they could really bring something to your life, right? And I feel like we attach a lot of kind of expectations, or we attach a lot of like this person can help complete me kind of a thing. That's what I'm feeling here. Is it's like this sense of it's kind of a game. I need to dig. I need to find stuff out. So for me, that's what I'm feeling. And the more I have to dig, the more I kind of like this person. But I'm feeling here that if it's hard to like have a conversation, or there's like this kind of like you said, he doesn't give you a lot to go off of. I feel like it fuels this kind of attraction more. So I'm trying to say that if he's not giving you a lot, hopefully you can understand what I'm saying here, where it's like he's not giving you so much, and then you feel like you need to try harder, right? Because he's also not giving you the time of day necessarily. You catch him looking, but it's kind of like he wants you to initiate things. But then at the same time, he's also quiet. And that can be kind of difficult to deal with, because it's like, you know, does what I'm saying make sense so far? He should be the one, not necessarily in all cases, um, should the other person pursue, but if it feels really one-sided, like, you know, 90% or whatever, that to me feels like it's a little, okay, that to me feels like it's a little hard for us to kind of justify a connection, because it's kind of like we're putting in this effort and maybe we're not necessarily seeing anything out of it. The shorter answers, things like that. So, Fruity Bear, how long has this person kind of been on your radar, so to speak? Are we talking a couple weeks? Are we talking a couple months? A few days? I'm curious here. Hmm. But never really noticed things until there was a slight change in behavior. Okay. So this is what I'm feeling from you, Fruity Bear, is um, I get this sense of someone who's ready to move into a phase of their life where they're not wanting to play games anymore. They're wanting to look for someone who's a partner, like a life partner, not like a party partner, right? I'm feeling like you want to have something that's a little more real or a little more concrete. And I'm feeling like there's a sense of not wanting to be alone, but also maybe not necessarily knowing what to look for in a partner as far as possibly compatibility, right? And again, if I'm wrong, please let me know. Please let me know if this is something, because I don't want to cross any boundaries with you. I don't want to make you feel like you know, I want to basically have a conversation with you. But what I was seeing in my mind when I was focusing psychically was um, not wanting to, like, necessarily eat alone or to be alone in the world anymore, wanting to have someone we can turn to instead of someone to just have necessarily fun with, someone to possibly build a life with, is what I'm seeing here. Okay. So that being said, I'm feeling, so the first thing I'm seeing is that there's a swiftness going into this. There's kind of like this hurry, 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 I need to make a decision, which to me is interesting because it's like hurry. I get this sense from you that it's like hurry up and wait, or hurry up and then I'm feeling like I have to sit. I feel like I have to do something. It's hard for me to focus on this because maybe I don't know where to go. Maybe I don't know what it is exactly that makes a good partner. But there's this rush to want to find a partner, and then there's this kind of sense of like, you know, what am I doing? What's kind of going on here? That's what I'm feeling more than anything. And that swift energy that I'm feeling is kind of like, I just want to have the, not necessarily the happy ending, but I just want to have the partner already. I want to have the dates. I want to have the closeness. I want to have someone I can share my life with. and someone that can share their life with me. But I'm getting a sense of attracting people in our lives that only are there. Hey, Kelly. I'm getting a sense of attracting people in our lives that are only there that you, okay, they experience your life, but I feel like you don't necessarily experience their world. I feel like there has been other connections that you've had where it was closed off and their world wasn't necessarily something you got to go into as much. So just let me know if that's resonating so far. Okay. So this is what I'm feeling, Fruity Bear. So what we're talking about here is you let people in. You let people in implicitly. I feel like you don't have a way that you can just let someone in gradually. I feel like with you it's kind of all or nothing. And that makes it so that you're giving a lot of energy and the other person isn't necessarily reciprocating that. And then there can be resentment. There can be other things that happen because you're giving so much of yourself. Um, and I feel like the best thing to do moving forward would be to find someone that can kind of mirror that energy back. And with this person, I would say, try with this person. There is, I feel like there's something here. I feel like there is a connection, but it feels to me like it's a bit more stunted for this person emotionally. I'm getting a sense of that kind of stoicism energy where they don't necessarily show very much. And I feel like you would want someone who doesn't necessarily wear their heart on their sleeve, but you can at least tell that there's something going on there. You can tell that there's like a dynamicness to this person. Um, which makes it hard because I feel like you come from very good intentions. I feel like you want to make people feel comfortable. I feel like you want to make people feel loved and appreciated. But I feel like you go over what a normal person would go through in a relationship. I feel like you're someone who jumps headfirst and you give 90%, and then when you get back only 10%, you're saying, "What's this?" kind of a thing. Like, why don't people see me for who I am? And I'm feeling like there's a tendency to get into a relationship and then give everything you've got. Um, maybe there's no boundaries. Maybe something happens where, and people don't appreciate you because it's kind of how they were brought up, right? And so I feel like there's a tendency to attract these people that are not um, emotionally vibrating at the frequency you're vibrating at, if that makes sense. It feels like we're learning the same lesson again and again, but the person we're learning it from is they look slightly different or they are slightly different, but it's kind of the same lesson. Okay, 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 so Fruity Bear, we have to look into healing where these wounds came from because the reason why we're doing this is because there's some wounds there. There could be a feeling of the reason I was feeling that rushing energy. So there could be people even owe me 10K, but I really don't expect them to pay me back either. Rather, the other person be doing well, anyways. Right. I hear you there. Hey again, Kelly. Um, you want them to do well, but I feel like there's a sense of. And Fruity Bear, tell me this: would you say, and maybe I'm being a little weird here, but would you say you're the most generous person you know? Like, have you known anyone to give as much as you do, or to try as hard as you do? Actually, no. Oh, I've got to light my incense. Hold on. where's the lighter? You guys seeing the flame? I don't even know if you can see it. Yeah, I think you can see it. Oh. One more time here. There we go. That's good. That's good. So you probably had an experience happen where you realized giving too much is something you don't want to do anymore. So that's good. And I like that you're not letting other people back in. Kind of when we say goodbye, it's for a reason. So that's a beautiful thing right there. The way I'm feeling with this connection is we kind of want to be what we want to attract. As kind of, I guess, convoluted as that sounds. So we want to be as healed as we can be before we before we try attracting a partner. It doesn't mean we have to be perfect before we attract a partner, but it means that we need to understand kind of our quote unquote craziness, right? The parts of us that are vulnerable, but you feel, yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I have here that can actually help with that is the School of Life. And I always mention this book because to me, it is something that's incredible because it talks about a bunch of different things from kind of a philosophical standpoint. So, School of Life, let's see, how do you spell it? So that's a book recommendation. You can see that on Amazon, and that's something that you can learn because he talks about how love is a skill that we learn, and maybe why relationships for us can be kind of difficult moving forward, because there's this tendency from uh, everything we've learned. We feel like we know what love should feel like. We feel like we should have it understood completely by the time we're adults. But a lot of us grew up in situations where um, we were raised by dysfunctional parents, right? Or we were raised by Disney movies or the sensationalism of media, and we feel like we should just know or we should just be able to feel it out if this person's right for us. And a lot of times, the person that is right for us initiates no response at all because that person is safe. If we look at someone and we feel unsafe and we're attracted to the drama, that's because there's wounds that are unhealed in us, and we feel like that is what love is. But really, we should feel kind of almost bored when we're with the person that we really like. As weird as that sounds, we should feel like it's too safe, almost. Does that make sense so far? And he talks about this, and he's got like cartoons and stuff that talk about this. And he talks about how when we are looking for that person, like I said, if we grew up in a household where mom and dad were chaotic, then we're either looking for a man or a woman in our life that mirrored that chaos when we were growing up. Because even though it wasn't safe, it's what we're familiar with, and we associate love with being painful. We associate love with being this kind of erratic, nasty mess, and we say, well, that's how love is, and it's no, it's not. Love is something that's so much more dynamic, and especially when two people are working towards something, a relationship, building something together. That's when you can actually see that happening. But until we've learned to heal these kinds of wounds, we're not in a position to necessarily know what love feels like, because we're still addressing parts of our wounds and we're still letting ourselves become triggered and then possibly getting in a relationship, right? So um, if you guys want to check out his book, it's really good. He talks about relationships and many other things too, but that's something that I've personally found helpful. And if some of us were raised in um, a narcissistic family of origin too, then that can make finding love even more difficult, because we've normalized dysfunction to a certain degree, and that can make it hard for us to find love and to find relationships, because when we were growing up, we did not grow up in a quote unquote kind of normal environment. We grew up in a dysfunctional environment, and we feel like that dysfunction is the way the rest of the world is. And so it's kind of like we need to re-educate ourselves on what life and living and love looks like. And his book kind of addresses all of that so that we can look at things more clearly and so that we can understand things better. He does a much better job than I do, and he has talks on YouTube and a lot of stuff like that. So really good resource to look into there. But Fruity Bear, does that? I do feel there's an interest with this person, but yeah. Perfect, Amber, perfect. I'm glad it's resonating, because it's kind of something that makes it hard for us to see things the right way. Like I was saying, the perfect partner for us, they're going to be kind of boring. They're not going to give us that chaotic response, and that's difficult though, because we say things like, "Oh, the person feels boring. The person feels, but what you're actually saying is they feel too safe. They feel too secure. They feel like they wouldn't give me that thing that I need in my life, drama, chaos, that kind of stuff." And like I said, he goes into detail. He talks about all that stuff. So Elaine Debaton, um, absolutely check his book out. Really, really good stuff. And generally, too, if we grow up in a narcissistic household, there is the people pleasing aspect as well, because we felt like we had to put our needs to the side for the caregiver to have their say or to have their kind of thing. It's kind of like um, we're kind of props in their world, so to speak, and they kind of move through us if we grew up in a narcissistic environment. But that's something we can talk about another time. But that's an important part. Love is a skill. I truly do believe that. I've been with my partner for 13 years almost, and it takes that communication, and it takes having to learn things, and it takes having to be humble, and sometimes it's really hard, and sometimes it's incredible, but a lot of times it's like you're working towards something. I do. I take my time doing these readings because, well, thank you. I wasn't trying to. Uh, it's hard for anybody, and I've had to learn. I've had to learn a lot on how to do that, but so is she. She's had to learn a lot too on how to, um, kind of like how we view each other and what's going on, and learning what is a triggered response versus what is an actual response, and kind of learning how each other work on that way. But that's something that takes time. It takes time to build that up. But yeah, so Fruity Bear, does that kind of answer the question for you? Sort of in a roundabout way. I hope it does. Awesome, Fruity Bear. Awesome. Okay, so would it be okay if we went to Elizabeth here? Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, and Kelly, I paid a long time ago. I hope that I'm on the. You are Kelly. Don't worry about it. The list isn't that big. So far, it's Fruity Bear, Amber, and then you, Kelly. So don't worry about that. And thank you for the payment, Kelly. Hey, Jackie. Thank you for the subscription. Okay, so let me put Kelly's name here. Perfect. Okay, so Elizabeth. Do this here. So let me go up and look at this. Let me see your question again. Yes, Amber, you can go after Kelly. You will be right after Kelly, so I'll just do this. Perfect. Okay. All right, Elizabeth, I imagine you're still there. Question 1. Any... Ooh, nice. Nice. It's a rare thing for me to get my phone to 90% anytime, so that's awesome. Okay, so Q1. Any messages from Spirit I need to know? Okay, that is a good one. So let me... Is it okay if we work psychically here, Kelly? Or Elizabeth? I'm sorry. Put your name down here. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. So the first thing I'm getting, Elizabeth, as I'm focusing on this, is I'm getting this kind of it's like this eagerness from you. The first question you said, "Are there any messages Spirit needs me to know?" So this one right here is very important for us. The very first thing I'm feeling is kind of focusing on patience, right? Like letting ourselves fully be in the moment, which I feel like you're doing more of. You said you were journaling, you're doing a lot of that. You're writing things down. But I feel like there's this tendency towards, and I've said this before, it's kind of like I get a sense of hurry up and wait from you. Sometimes it feels like I have a lot of energy, right? And I connected with you before. There is a lot of energy here. So I'm feeling like patience is going to be something, grounding is going to be another. And then this is something here. Have you, Kelly, have you, or Elizabeth, I am so sorry, I keep saying Kelly. Um, Have you, Elizabeth, been doing anything meditation-wise? Have you tried doing meditation of any kind? There's no judgment if it's a yes or a no. There's just me asking if you've been doing that. Okay, so what are you doing in these meditations? If you don't mind me asking. Is it just kind of clearing your mind, or is it... I'll give you a second here. I'm just going to take a drink here. Usually results in me falling asleep. That's fine. That's kind of how it is at first. Hold on one second. I'm going to just take a drink here. Okay, so mostly focusing on breathing, and I can appreciate that because I have done that many times. I always have very weird, vivid, half out of body, half in dreamland experiences. Okay. So that's good after meditation. That's good. That's good. It's kind of like you're fueling up the vehicle, so to speak. When we're talking about astral projection, when we're talking about anything spiritual, so we have the physical body, and again, I'm going to say things like this, okay, guys, because anything I say is theory, because I'm still learning. Things change, and so I'll say this. I feel like this is true for me. You guys don't have to believe this, but take it with a grain of salt. So we have the physical body, okay? Then we have the etheric body. Then we have the astral body. Then we have the mental body. And then it gets a little hazy after that for me, but eventually it turns into this another video. But that's good. It's kind of like you're fueling up the bodies, so to speak. If you want to think of us as like Russian nesting dolls, we have all these other souls or all these other selves inside of us. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. So these half awake, half dreamlike experiences, Elizabeth, when did these start happening, or have these been happening for a while? We can do that for you, Kelly. Here, let me finish doing this for Elizabeth, and then we can address your question. But thank you for writing that one out, because then I can just go up and look at it. You've always had them happen since you were young, but meditation makes them more vivid. Okay, okay. So let me see here. Oh no, you're good, Kelly. You're good. Yeah, okay. You're just fine, Kelly. Don't worry about that. Let me see here. So I'm trying to focus here. The main thing I'm hearing for this, Kelly, is I'm getting care for yourself or take care of yourself, which I feel like you're doing. It's not like you're not doing these things, but it's kind of like I feel like there's a tendency to focus on others versus the self versus you, right? And I feel like we need to take some of that energy and put it back into us. Again, we've talked about the boundaries. This one's kind of coming up again. Not because you're not doing a good job, but because it's that important for kind of your soul's journey, right? And that was something that I feel like is important here. Okay, and so I okay, so Kelly, you're probably going to see this in the future here. You're lagging behind by quite a bit. Um, yeah, I'm reading for Elizabeth. I did keep saying your name, and I'm sorry about that. That was my bad. But yeah, I'm reading for Elizabeth now. But if you can fast forward the stream to catch up, then you'll be up with the rest of us here. So I don't know how it works on your end if you're fast forwarding, but hopefully that's something you can do. Okay, so and yes, I think because of the tons of energy I've always had very random spiritual experiences. Okay. Um, I don't feel like I operate my. Okay, so the grounding part is going to be tricky, but not because it's hard, but because we've told ourselves that it's hard. So right there, Elizabeth, you said something where you said it's always been difficult for you, and I feel like there's been experiences that have kind of reinforced the behavior that grounding will be difficult. And so it's going to be difficult. I've talked with people like this before where they feel like something about their, it could be personality or it could be mental state or it could be anything. They feel like it's going to be more difficult for them, but they're setting up more of a barrier in themselves towards experiencing that kind of energy. When really all we have to do is let ourselves kind of be, as long as we let ourselves be in the moment as much as we can, that's good. And when we're talking about grounding, it's not going to be this monumental thing. I want you to look at it kind of like it's a stepping stone because grounding is something that people can do. It just takes practice. And it's the same for you, Elizabeth. It's not a huge monumental thing. It's something that's kind of a step uh, in the right direction, so to speak. So it's not like you can't do it or that it's even that hard. It's that I feel like we've put a lot of emphasis on making it maybe a little more difficult for us. There is a tremendous amount of energy, but that also means that we absolutely can ground it through whatever means possible. And we can go into that here in a second. Right. So a perspective shift, absolutely. Because if I said this is hard for me, no matter what it is, it's going to be more difficult because I've already stated how hard it's going to be. And it's kind of like we psych ourselves out before we've even started the process because we've told ourselves how difficult it's going to be before we start. And so it's kind of like perspective shift is good, but we talked about healing, we talked about this kind of stuff. I'm curious, Elizabeth, spiritually speaking, what is it that you're wanting to do? Um, let's focus on the end goal here, Elizabeth. Where do you see yourself going with spirituality? in say 5 years? What's kind of like your game plan, if you don't mind me asking? That's a noble goal. That's a good goal. A healer who can help people. So the best thing for us to do then is to focus on what we can do for ourselves first, which we've talked about. Right, there you go. I'm also looking to understand myself more or better myself. So if we're on the healing journey or the spiritual journey, the most important thing we can do, because we will be working with people, our gifts, right? If there's nobody to work with our gifts, then it's kind of like why even develop it? So sort of find peace, not really happiness, because I believe happiness is fleeting, just like sadness. Perfect. No, Elizabeth, that is perfect. That's a very wise sentiment right there. We chase happiness. We chase happiness. We run from sadness, and yet in the middle of it all, I think we can find peace. So I love that sentiment right there. So we're always going to be, if we're spiritually developing, we're always going to be improving ourselves. That means reading. That means basically doing whatever we can to make ourselves better as people. Because when we are better, when we are coming from kind of a higher perspective, then we can give messages or we can give healings that are of a higher vibration. I mean, that to me makes sense. But to always be learning and to always be changing, or to always be slightly uncomfortable because we're trying new things, that's when you know you're in that process, right? And I'm a Taurus snake, so change for me is a little more difficult than most, and I get stuck in my ruts. And so I know that changing and keep pursuing that path, it can be tricky at times, but it can be done. So the main message I'm seeing here right now, Elizabeth, from Spirit, to address the first question, is going to be allow yourself the time and the presence of allow yourself the time and the presence to be with yourself and to focus on what you need, and don't shy away from how you're feeling and what you need in the moment. Because if we get to that place, we can actually understand ourselves a lot better. So the first thing is to be patient. The second thing is to allow yourself to experience your reality. So being more grounded, okay, and it's not a hard thing. It's just something that we need to get accustomed to. So when we're focusing on grounding, we can actually do a couple things. Okay, first thing is going to be I showed you the exercise that you can do, the grounding exercise. That's great. That's not too bad at all to do. But there's other exercises too. One of them being, so Elizabeth, if you have trees or if you have plants, something that you can touch that is alive in that sense. I believe everything is alive, but it is actually what we would call physically alive, like a tree. Um, Go over to a tree, go over to something, and I want you to breathe. And as you're breathing and you're touching this tree, I want you to take in kind of what makes that tree a tree. I want you to sort of breathe in the essence, and I want you to imagine this kind of energy exchange where the tree uses photosynthesis to create itself and to make itself stronger. but you're using the tree's energy, what it's collected over its time, and we can use that as a grounding exercise. Using nature to ground is a really good way to ground, but having the intention, putting our hand on the tree and having the intention of, I'm doing this to ground myself, is going to be working for us a lot better than just touching a tree. Intention is everything when we're working with energy, and if we say that to the tree, either out loud or quietly, the tree can then give us a hand, as bizarre as it sounds. No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so when I ground, I feel like I feel too deeply and it overwhelms me. Is there a way to fix that too? Or does that ebb away as I ground more? Okay, okay, so I want you, Elizabeth, I want you to understand this part. It gets easier. The more you ground, the easier it gets to understand the emotions. The reason why you're feeling them more is because you're allowing yourself to come back into your body. And it feels like you're feeling them more, but what you're really doing is you're feeling. You're just feeling. You're not necessarily feeling them more, but you're putting your attention there, and it makes it so that it feels like it's more. So when we're more in our body more often, it won't feel so overwhelming. Does that make sense with that? And the other thing is that deeply feeling is part of the journey. When you're a sensitive and you feel things very, very deeply, it actually means that you can help people on their journey quite a bit because you're feeling things in a much deeper way. It's kind of like you can feel, you're not just feeling emotions, it's like you feel everything deeply. So that would include psychic messages, that would include energy healing, that would include all of those kinds of things. Does that make sense, Elizabeth? You're welcome. You're welcome. I just want you to know, Kelly, that you can own all of it. All of it is you. All of it is your energy. It just feels like it's too much because we're not allowing ourselves to be in the present moment. We're not allowing ourselves to be in our body very often because there is so much to feel. Eventually that gets easier, but you can also develop I talked about the energy exercises before. Um, did I show you what those look like, Elizabeth? I think I did. Let me see here. I can show you guys the energy exercise, um, and this can help develop the energetic body, so to speak. So I can show you guys that if that's something you're interested in. It helps with grounding, it helps with everything, but besides Elizabeth, I would need a couple more people to say they would want to see it. Otherwise, I don't move for just anybody, let me put it that way. Because I think she's seen most of this. So you want to see it. Okay, Amber wants to see it. All right, so we'll show. The book recommendations, though, are going to be interesting. So you're going to be looking at books that deal specifically. This one right here. I think this is what it's called. Empath Survival Guide is going to be something. Looking into doing energy modalities. Qigong is really good if we're looking to ground ourselves. If you have a lot of energy, doing a Qigong routine can help you with that kind of grounding that we're talking about. And doing this will help too. So I will be right back, I promise. I'm just gonna be off for 1 second, but I'm gonna put this up here. So Okay, so let me do this here. Are you awake, boy? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's do this here. It looked like the perspective of someone who was like waking up, and I was like creepily standing over them. So that's always fun. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, so here's what we're gonna be doing. Okay, we zip up our jackets right about here, and then we go like this. So I'm just pulling my sleeves up. You guys don't have to do this. This just makes me feel like I can show you a little bit better. Okay. So we breathe in, okay, and I can't do a full body like camera shot to show you everything, but what I'll do is this. So I'll just tell you what I'm doing. So we take our hands in front of us, kind of right beneath the groin area, I guess you would say. Not like actually beneath like this, but like in front of kind of where the groin would be. And this is going to be something where we're starting to build up energy. And what we do is we allow ourselves to breathe in. Okay, we go. And then when we get to the heart, we go out. So we breathe in and we go. And we go out, and we allow our legs to be about a little over shoulder width apart, and we're gonna do what's called a horse stance. So we put our legs out about shoulder, a little over shoulder apart, and we squat down a little bit. And as we do this, we're gonna do this 8 times. Not this time, but I'll tell you guys what you can do after. So you're gonna do this. We allow ourselves to stretch out. I don't have a ton of room, so that's why my arms are kind of coming in a little bit, because you can see I'm touching that. And then there's like 3 people over here that you guys can't see. No, I'm just kidding. But so when we're doing this, what we're doing is we're taking the energy. When we're breathing in, we're bringing up the earth energy from beneath our feet up to our heart. And then when we're breathing out, we're letting that energy go from our heart up to where our crown chakra is, and we're doing this. We're going around like that. That also creates what's called a torus around us. T-O-R-U-S. T-O-R-U-S. And that's a torus field, right? It looks like a donut of energy, if you want to think of it like that. If someone had a donut and they laid it on its, like you were looking at it straight on, kind of a thing, and it was on the ground, but yeah, that's what a torus is. And then after you've done this exercise and you start to feel a little bit, you'll feel energy. You'll start to feel energy eventually. Some of us, it may take, we might have to do it for a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months before we feel energy. Once we start feeling a sense of energy, tingling, heat, pressure, hot, cold, there's a lot of ways you can feel it, kind of like a wind in your hand, magnetic, static feeling, feeling of stretching, a feeling of pulling. Energy can appear in a multitude of ways. But once you feel that energy, then you're going to take your hand, and it's almost like you're cleaning yourself. When you feel energy in your hand, you're going to go up. So here's my arm as an example. You're going to go like this. And you're going to go slow, and you're going to allow the energy that you've built up to go over your whole body. And we're going to go underneath the armpit, and then we're going to go down the sides right here. We're going to allow ourselves to be slow. And we go over the arms, we go over the chest, the back as much as the back of our body as much as we can. And then we go down and we go on to our legs. And if I go like this, you can't really see anything. So if I go like this, no. Anyway, I'll do it like this. So then we have our leg, okay? Not everyone is going to have a blue leg. This is particular to me. But what you're going to do is you're going to take that energy that we were talking about, and you're going to go over, okay? You're going to go all the way down your feet, all the way down to your toes. You can lift your foot up a little bit. You can do whatever you need to do. we go under the foot, and then we take our arms, we go back up. And the whole time we're doing this, we're scanning slowly. And when I say scan, that's what we're doing with our energy. It's kind of like we're scanning our body. And then to finish off, we can go with our face and the back of our head, just doing that slowly and kind of doing that. And what that does over time is, just moving the camera down. What that does over time is it builds what's called nerve fibers. The stronger our nerve fibers are, the more energy that we're able to put out. So it's kind of like a way to exercise the energetic body in a physical way. And so that's just something you can try, you guys, and you can kind of see how that works. But it allows us to bring more energy into our life and to be more present and to bring a sense of grounding. And you do that enough times, you can really start to feel the energy in your body, and it won't just be in your hands. It can be anywhere on your body that you can feel energy. And if your whole body is radiating with energy and you're giving that to someone as an energy healing, it's going to be a lot better than if it's like coming just from your hands or it's coming just from a finger. It's kind of like learning how to work with our energy to influence other people's energy in a positive way. So hopefully that helps in that scenario for you, Elizabeth. Hopefully that kind of explains things. Okay, so I'm going to move on to your next question here. So let me go up here. What new opportunities are coming for me? So question 2, what new opportunities are coming for me or for you? I'm going to tune in psychically again here. Okay. Okay. So we're looking at this right here that I'm seeing for you, Elizabeth. So I'm getting a sense of okay, hold on. So the first thing I'm getting is this kind of expansion feeling, is what I'm feeling here. And then I'm seeing it with kind of like one eye opened. So this to me is saying that there's going to be expansion happening for you very quickly. And it's going to be kind of hard for us to, I feel like between now and up until because you said you were 23, I feel like between now and up until you're about 26 is going to be this sort of period of revolution when it comes to understanding the self and understanding how the spiritual world works. So what I'm seeing here is a strong sense of expansion and feeling like it's almost like we can never be full of information. So it's like kind of a voracious appetite of learning, of trying to understand things, of trying to get to where we need to go. With this expansion, though, there's something interesting here. So expansion is great, but if there's nothing for us to kind of expand out towards, like a goal, then it can be hard for us to understand. So you said you want to be someone who's a healer. You want to be someone who focuses on that for yourself and for other people, because it is for us too. If we're putting out that energy in the world, that's good for everything, including us and other people. So what I'm seeing here is that we're going to be in this period of time in our lives, we're going to be accumulating knowledge. This is kind of like this is kind of your spiritual college. Okay, let's call it a spiritual college or a spiritual education for you, um, Elizabeth, because to me that's what it feels like we're going into. So far, does that make sense? Okay. So the next thing you're going to be learning, Elizabeth, besides what we talked about before, learning with the empath part of things, is the next part of your journey is going to be entering the energy healing realm, and that is going to be an interesting place for you. So you're going to be working. I feel like you're going to help people heal from physical ailments, but I feel primarily you're going to be using your abilities to help people with emotional blockages. That's what I'm feeling is kind of being the calling there. Is it's dealing with more emotional blockages, and then I'm hearing from spirit that this is your purpose. This is kind of your soul's desire to help heal in that sense. I feel like you will be able to help with physical ailments, but it's not just going to be that. You're going to want to address something deeper. So let me see what else I can get here. Hmm. So during this, I mean, would you say, Elizabeth, would you say that's how you would want to work? Or are you wanting to work more on an emotional level? You would say both. Okay. And I could see that. I could definitely see that. I don't feel like you're just going to do emotional work. That's not what I'm saying. What I feel like is if someone comes to you with a physical issue, I feel like you'll be able to help with the physical, but primarily it's going to be focusing on more of the emotional, if that makes sense. You're sending energy, but you're also opening something up. And also, we're looking at you will help. Spirit comes in and says, help with dissolving ego blocks. So, help with dissolving um, blocks that people have built up so that they can't absorb certain information. So that's what I'm feeling is going to be going on here, is that you're going to help people to see things in a new way. And I do feel like that part of your journey, the empath part is important for you to get a hold of, but I'm feeling like you're going to be starting this part of your journey, the energy healing part of your journey, fairly quickly. It feels like you're ready to kind of jump in. I still feel like you need time, but that being said, practice. That's the best thing you can do. And I would say start with that as soon as you can. There's groups, I always mention Facebook because there are like minded groups of people on Facebook that literally only specialize in one thing. If you're wanting to do energy work, if you're wanting to try stuff out, read some books, learn as much as you can, but eventually you're going to have to step out from the classroom environment and into the real world. And I feel like that's a good place to start. It's because you're stepping out into the real world, you're actually helping people, but you're doing it in a way that's controlled and that you know you can kind of set your own limits. You can say, I want to try helping one person today, or I want to try helping two people. And then you can realize what you can and can't do especially starting out, because it's kind of like exercising. We're going to be building up a spiritual muscle, and that takes time. And the other thing that I want you to do when you start doing this work with other people, I want you to let yourself be open to criticism, which I don't feel like is a problem with you as long as it's constructive criticism if someone's trying to help. But also let yourself feel how you like to work. And over time, you'll understand what that means, because certain people work certain ways and spirit kind of guides them to work in those ways. But that takes time to try and learn that. So that's what I'm feeling is going to be happening. I do feel like your healing part of your journey is going to be starting soon, and you get to decide how fast or how slow you move with that. But if you move quickly or if you move slowly, that doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're doing it, it's the fact that the intention is there. So don't feel like you have to move quickly to get results. And don't feel like you need to really push yourself, because with energetic work, especially with energy healing, we do not have energy come out of us. We do not give energy to people by forcing ourselves to give energy. We give energy by allowing energy to be given. The more we try to hold on with a tight fist, the less we can grab. Okay? So this kind of mentality we need to go into to understand our healing journey, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to, would it be okay, Elizabeth, if we address the third question? Perfect. Okay, let's move to this third question here, and let me see what I can get. So I'm going to shuffle the cards for this one. So you said, do you see my feelings for my friend going anywhere, or is it better just as a friendship? So let's look at that. That was a sneeze. Okay. Let's do this here, and let's see what we can find for you. All right, so let's do this, Elizabeth, because we've talked about, we kind of know your feelings, right? We understand your feelings because you are feeling them. With this other person you were wondering about, let's see. You see my feelings for my friend going anywhere, or is it just better as a friendship? So let's do that. Let's do this. So what would happen in this relationship if you stayed as friends, and what would happen if you took it a step further? So I'll draw two cards. So what would happen in this relationship if you stayed friends, and what would happen if it turned into a love, or what? Okay, let's just look at the cards. What would happen in this relationship if you stayed as friends? And how to word this? What would be the course of this energy if love was expressed by the other person? So for What would happen if you stayed as friends? We get forgiveness in reverse. Okay. What would happen if the relationship took that next level? We get manifestation in reverse. So right now, both of these options, it seems like for some reason I feel like we're right in the middle. I mean, obviously you're asking a question. I feel like we're right in the middle here. It feels like it could kind of go either way, but it also feels like, I mean, obviously something's blocking the connection here because it just feels kind of like I feel kind of like I'm confused about the situation, so I'm trying to understand it. And when I say I'm confused, I feel like you're confused about the situation, which to me is, I can understand, right? You say you've been talking with this person for 7 years, I believe you said. But both of these cards right here are telling me that because you have the opportunity to possibly go see this person, but I'm wondering if maybe this is kind of like you go and you see this person and it's not going to necessarily be how we think it is, because there tends to be this thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, another person that we've been talking, I've liked him for 2. Yeah, I've been friends for 8 years, I've liked him for 2. Okay. So there tends to be this kind of thing that we do because we've never met this person. We can kind of romanticize what it would be like to be with them, right? We can romanticize that kind of journey as much as we want because we don't know what it's like. So maybe we go and we meet them, and maybe we realize they're not necessarily for us. Right. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. But that's what I'm seeing here, is that there's a tendency towards it's almost like we're thinking what it would be like to be with this person. I'm almost feeling like if we went to see them, even if there was a connection, I'm wondering if, oh, he got deported. See, I didn't know this part. So you did know him at one point. And now lives in a different, okay. Let me look here and let me see what I can get. Because it does feel like there's something blocking this connection just a little bit. But I'm shuffling these cards here. So I get the Hermit card on the forgiveness in reverse. So that card there was if you were to stay as friends. So I feel like this is your energy. If you're to stay as friends, the Hermit card. This isn't bad though. The Hermit card is a card of going in for an inner journey and kind of exploring the self. So this isn't a bad card to have, but it would be kind of like a solo journey for you. It'd be kind of like going in, understanding things yourself, and it would be more of a lonely journey. I still feel like you would have this person as a friend, but it would be like you saying, I'm focusing on me now. I'm focusing more on me. So it would be kind of like maybe that connection gets pushed to the side a little bit. But then on it taking that next level, I get this card here. So if you were to take it to the next level, I get the High Priestess. Okay? Focus there. Come on. All right, anyway, High Priestess, she's sitting in a chair. The High Priestess is about intuitive ability. So to me, this is kind of like, I'm getting a sense that everything that happened to you, the falling out, all that stuff that happened, I feel like it happened for a reason. And something here is telling me that you're meant to go on this kind of journey right now where maybe staying as friends would be a good option until we understand kind of what it is that we're expecting, because this spiritual journey that you're going to be going on, I feel like is going to have a lot of kind of highs and lows, and I feel like this is going to be something where maybe in a few years there could be a connection here again. Staying friends, I feel like, is going to be something that happens, but it feels to me like you're going to be putting other things as priority compared to this connection is kind of what I'm feeling. So Elizabeth, does that make sense? It feels like your energy is adapting rather quickly. I feel like you're learning and I feel like you're trying to understand things and I feel like it comes naturally. So that's why I'm putting this out there. Okay. It is a little chaotic and coincidence or not, they're both Taurus. Every romantic option I've had has been a Taurus. Funny, right? Yes, that is funny. But as Tauruses, we are adorable. The the moment this other person came back into the picture is when the plans to see my friend got halted. Isn't that yeah, that is funny how that happens. That is I can see that here. And that would also explain why these two cards are in reverse because there's something else that's going on here too. And then you have two major arcana underneath, so there could be kind of figuring it out. Figuring this out. So hold on one second. It feels to me like the connection with the person that is in the other country, it does feel like that's a bit of a, and I've been seeing 1010 again. Awesome. See, and that could mean something. My vote, Elizabeth, is going to be that it's kind of like a see what happens sort of situation. So if this other option comes in, I don't think there's anything going on. There's nothing wrong with you maybe exploring it. I mean, being safe, use your own judgment kind of a thing. There's nothing wrong with maybe exploring that as an option because you haven't said, at least I don't think you've said to this other person that you're wanting to be in a relationship with them necessarily. It's kind of probably been flirted around with maybe, but I feel like there's nothing wrong with exploring other options at this point in time because you are still really young. And I feel like if there's an opportunity, learn from it, try to understand it as much as you can, is what I would say. But again, take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything with that grain of salt. And if the other person has behaviors or if they seem like something's not right, trust your intuition and go from there. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just putting that out there so that people can use their own judgment, so to speak. Okay, so Elizabeth, does that help answer your questions so far? You are very welcome, Elizabeth. Very, very welcome. Okay, Kelly, are you there still? Gonna wait. I'm gonna wait here. Okay, Kelly, so do you want to type your question one more time? I know you set it up there. It was, you're wondering about spiritual messages too, right? Was that it? Was that the question? Okay. All right, so let's see what spiritual lessons we need to focus on here. I'll use the cards and I'll see what we can get. We'll use the True Black Tarot. These cards are amazing. I love the way they shine in that light. Very, very beautiful cards. Okay, let's try this out. Of course, Kelly. No problem. I figured that's what you wanted to do. I had a feeling. So not a problem at all. Alright, so Spirit, what does Kelly need to know? Hey, Tay Marie, how are you doing? I don't think I've seen you around before. Welcome to the channel. Yes, I am still accepting. Just with Cashapp and PayPal. But absolutely, my friend. Alright, what message? What message does Kelly need from Spirit? Or what message does Spirit have for Kelly? That's better. Okay. So Kelly, I'm getting this. This is really good. So both of these are upright. We have the King of Swords. Wanting that camera to focus. It's having a hard time. Anyway, King of Swords. Okay. Very beautiful card right here. Very good card. And the King of Swords is going to be someone who accepts change, who allows things to happen, who is kind of like allowing themselves to change or allowing themselves to change mentally is going to be the big thing here. So when we're talking about this, it's mental changes. And this is really good. So this is Spirit saying, I feel like we're on the right track here. And then we have another card here, which tells me again. So we have the 10 of Cups. Okay. And you'll notice it's in front of this. So the 10 of Cups is one of the best cards. So emotional wise or emotionally wise, it's about letting ourselves feel and letting ourselves be kind of in the present moment more. But it's also about like a lot of emotions, possibly positive, especially where it's the 10 of Cups. So it's a really, really good card. It's kind of like a celebration card almost, because this is dealing with kind of like we're stepping into a new role in our life. That's what I'm seeing here. And especially when we're talking about the spiritual endeavors that you're thinking of accompanying here, I'm feeling like you're taking this seriously. Hey, Lady Libra. I feel like you're taking this very seriously, and I feel like you're trying to either learn as much as you can or intuitively understand as much as you can. So, Kelly, does that make sense so far? Oh, awesome. Okay, so we'll address that more. And Tay, thank you for the yes, thank you for the money there. I got it. And so you are after Amber, who is after Kelly. So you'll be up before you know it. So I'll put you here. Okay, perfect. So Kelly, this to me. So what do you feel like? Because we talked Wednesday. So do you feel like after that talk that we had, after the reading that we had on Wednesday, do you feel like that kind of helped you in some way, maybe to at least sort of understand it a little bit more? I'm going to use the Fountain Tarot underneath this one, and I'm going to see what other cards come up here. But let's look. Let's see here. Awesome, awesome, perfect. Perfect. We'll do a little bit more energy too, like you said. I'm just going to do 2 more cards, and then we'll do some energy here. Okay. So underneath the King of Swords, we get the 3 of Swords here. And then underneath the 10 of Cups, we get the Page of Cups. So this right here, when I'm looking at this, Kelly, this is trying to, I feel like we're trying to understand our emotions from maybe a different perspective, or we're trying to understand ourselves from a different perspective. And this is really good, but we will have moments where we feel like we're not doing good enough. And I want you to take those moments, and I want you to be as gentle with yourself as you can, because this journey, especially if it's a spiritual journey, is something where we're working on compassion. If we want to help other people and be compassionate with other people, we have to be compassionate and gentle with ourselves. Otherwise, we are of no use. Every time we're gentle and we're compassionate, we're sharpening our spiritual tools so that we can help other people sharpen their spiritual tools. It's kind of something that we have to do. So, in this process of energetic, kind of like you're focusing on healing so that you can help other people heal, it's important for you to let yourself feel everything that comes up with that. Okay, and there's going to be moments where maybe we feel like we're not good enough. There's going to be moments where we feel like this isn't right for me. There's going to be a lot of those kinds of moments where we question and we're kind of doubtful. But then we have to realize that on a spiritual journey, it's never a straight line. It's always up and down and up and down. There's an ebb and flow to it, and sometimes things are flowing really well. Like when I'm doing my psychic and my medium stuff, sometimes stuff comes to me so easily. It's insane. And then other times it's not there at all. And that's normal during the journey. That's kind of like we're learning. We're trying to learn, we're trying to understand. And sometimes we can connect and sometimes we can't. Sometimes we're really on point and sometimes we're just a little bit off. And we need to allow ourselves time, and we need to allow ourselves gentle space to experience this kind of energetic feeling, right? So that's what I'm getting with you, Kelly, is that we need to work on the understanding of the self, and we need to work on not necessarily being hard on ourselves, but letting ourselves sort of work, make mistakes. And that's another thing, is that when we're focusing on allowing ourselves to learn something, we need to allow ourselves to also make mistakes and realize that's not the end of the world. Because the only way that we get better as people, the only way that there's progress, is if we kind of leave a little bit of mistakes in our wake, if we kind of leave something behind of ours, our experience and our failures, then we can actually get to where we're successful. But we have to focus on not being hard on ourselves, not berating ourselves, and just allowing ourselves to be in the moment and allowing ourselves to feel that energy. So, Kelly, does that help you? Absolutely, absolutely. And another thing, I'm just going to say this one more time. For any person that's out there and they're wanting to start their kind of spiritual business or wanting to start something like that, look for like-minded people to work with at first. Okay? I made a mistake where I kind of jumped headfirst into a part of the internet that was not necessarily friendly, and that slows down the journey. Facebook groups are really good. Find people that have very similar interests. Don't just put yourself out there and try to do your best. Put yourself in a situation where you can learn from other people in the group and where you feel like you can trust those people. That comes in time, but that's going to help you to understand kind of your role in the energetic system, like what it is that a healer is. And then you'll have your aha moments. You'll have things that click, and you'll have ways that you can work with people better. But that's something that we need to have moving forward. So, okay, so Kelly, let's do some energy work here. Let's see, what would be a good, well, hold on. I have another incense here that I'm going to light. I do like it to smell good, so hold on, guys. Okay. Let's do some energy work here, and let's use this primarily. So this right here, we have a little bit better of a camera, and I always like to show this stone off. This is Labradorite in the shape of a heart. That camera is having some troubles here. Anyway, so this is Labradorite. It's in the shape of a heart, and it can help us with healing. So let's try this out here. I'll let that focus on me again. Okay. So Kelly, I want you to get relaxed as much as you can, and we're going to focus on putting in some energy. It is a really pretty stone. So Labradorite is really good for anxiety and depression, and because it's a mixture of the blue and the green color, okay, this is something that's good for the heart and it's good for the throat chakra. So this is going to be good for allowing us to let go of things that no longer serve us, but also allowing us to speak our truth. So that's going to be important for us moving forward. It is also a very healing stone because when we're healing the heart center, when we're healing that, it allows us to focus on bringing forth other kinds of intentions. Like allowing someone to heal from a broken heart is good, allowing someone to kind of heal from all sorts of physical ailments. We focus on the heart, it's kind of like the center of the system. So, anyway, let's focus on this here. So, Kelly, relax as much as you can, get comfortable, and just allow yourself to breathe, allow yourself to be in the moment, and just take it for what it is and allow yourself to feel the energy. Okay, me and my guides are going to start sending, so we will do that right now. Okay. Okay, Kelly. How are you feeling? There we go. No. Still having a hard time focusing. I'll have to figure that out. Good, good. Hey, Jamie Lee, yes, they are. And I think you've always done Cashapp. So, yes, as long as it's Cashapp and PayPal only, I'm up for it. Good, Kelly. That's good. The relaxed, the sleepy, that's perfect. That's, yeah. You're very welcome, Kelly. You're very, very welcome. I'm going to go now to Amber's questions. Thank you, Jamie. Let's see. Amber, are you there? So Tay Marie, you can select, or you not select. You can ask any question you have. On the live here, you can just post your question when it's time. I'm on to Amber right now, and then it's your turn, Tay Marie, and your question can be anything. So it doesn't have to be scripted or something that I chose for you. It can be anything. Thank you for checking in, though. I appreciate that. So far, everyone's been doing well with the Cash App and PayPal only thing as well, so I appreciate that too. That's been awesome. Thank you very much, Jamie Lee. I appreciate that immensely. So right now it's Amber, then it's Tay, and then it is you, Jamie. So let's get to work on these questions here. Yes, so it's Amber right now, Jamie, and then it's Tay, and then it's you. So right now there's two people ahead of you. Okay, I'm going to address Amber's questions here. Okay, you come back, and if for some reason your turn is missed, do not worry. I'll keep track of it, so don't worry about that. Okay, Amber, how do people feel? Let's see. How do people in the dance group feel about me now? So let's look at that. How do people in the dance group feel about Amber now? Hey, Barbara, I'm doing good. How are you doing? And yeah, it has been a while. Hopefully things are going well. It's still learning. Still learning, Barbara. I'm still trying. Definitely still need to develop a little bit more as a medium and as a psychic, so yeah. Okay, how do people in the dance group feel about Amber now? Okay. Okay, Amber, so I get these two cards right here. Angel of Balance and Door to Personal Healing and Happiness. So, camera's having a hell of a time focusing. Let me do this. So I'm going to ask you here, Amber, what happened? Did something happen here? Let me do this. Thank you, Barbara. I think I will. I definitely think I will. That's about as good as it's going to get. So, Angel of Balance and Door to Personal Healing and Happiness here, Amber. Either I'm feeling like maybe you cut them off and you're feeling better, or maybe you said something that had them change their... Thank you, Barbara. That's very sweet. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I'm trying, and I know other people are too, and that's what's important. At least we're trying. We're putting in the effort, so... Here. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to have this be as welcoming a place as possible. I'm still learning. I'm still, trying, but I'm glad that you... I'm just glad. It makes me happy. Because that's what I'm trying to do for the channel. This was the group of people that bullied and harassed me. We recently had a going away party. I wasn't there, but people have reached out recently. I have mixed feelings. Okay. So the going away party was for these people that bullied you? They're leaving? Definitely don't, because in this situation, Amber, you're fine. You take time for you. I know you're someone that you want to be there for everybody and you want to show, but you did the right thing by not going. 100%. So don't feel like that was a bad choice. I understand feeling bad, but I feel like you did the right thing. So Angel of Balance and Door to Personal Healing and Happiness. So this is about you. This is about you saying, I'm taking my energy, I'm focusing on myself. Door to Personal Healing and Happiness is you saying, my personal healing and happiness comes before anything else. This is good. This is good, Amber. This is the boundaries we've talked about. We've talked about this a few times, and I feel like you're starting to say, you know what? What about me? What about Amber? And I'm liking this. I'm really liking this. So they left the people that were bullying you. The company got mysteriously shut down. I thought they were my family at one time. Mysteriously shut down. I wonder if someone else has blackmail on them or something. That to me, that seems very suspicious in a good way, though, because it got shut down. These people needed to go. So your people are reaching out. People are reaching out to you, and you're kind of wanting to know. Are you wanting to know why they're reaching out, or is it kind of like, why weren't you there? Is that what the reaching out kind of goes to? Okay, so, Amber, this is kind of where you can say, I mean, I know you want to be in this world. I know you want to be in the dance world, and I know there's parts of it that are not pretty, because we've talked about that. But you could say that you weren't there because you just couldn't make it. I mean, if they want to really pry more into it, they can. But ultimately, just give them kind of I just couldn't make it. I had other plans. It seems shallow, exactly. Why weren't they there when I've tried several times to build relationships with them? Exactly. See? Exactly. You're getting it. This is good. This is Amber getting upset and angry because they weren't there. They weren't there for you, but now you're starting to see where that comes from. You're starting to put yourself first. You're raising yourself above the bullshit, Amber. This is good. It probably doesn't feel good sometimes, but this is good. This is a step. So I'm proud of you so far. This is awesome. I'm proud of you no matter what, but this right here, this is good. I'm feeling like you're starting to see that, Amber, you always have your back. You're the person there that can always have your own back. So that's what I'm liking. Amber is sticking with Amber, so this is good. So let them think what they want to think in those regards. You can just say you were busy. Protect your own energy. You don't need to give them a reason. If you want, give them an excuse. That's one of the few times where I feel like lying, if you want to lie, is appropriate because it's none of their business. They don't need to have any stake or claim on your energy. You can just say you were doing whatever. It's been stirring a lot of pain for me because I'm remembering how much I wanted us to be friends. That makes sense. That makes sense. So it's stirring up that sense of loss again. It's stirring up that sense. It's kind of like when we had those expectations of a family or a friendship or something deeper, a community, and that was kind of dashed on the rocks, that would bring this up again. Absolutely. Energetically, you're cutting the ties, you're getting rid of what's no longer serving, and of course that's going to bring up these emotions, right? And this part right here, this is a normal part. So what I feel like you're going through, Amber, is what's called, it's like the grieving process. So you never got to have the relationship you wanted with these people, and then it was cut short on top of that. So now you're going to be going through a grieving process where you have to grieve the things that never happened. You have to grieve the future that never was. You have to grieve the people that you thought they were, but they weren't, and they showed that to you. And that's the painful part of this journey. But it's good because the grieving process, it takes time to heal. but that's part of the journey. That's part of the process. Does that make sense so far, Amber? I've actually got a YouTube video on this very thing, this very grieving someone, possibly while they're still alive. We grieve people when they die, but we also grieve people in a relationship setting too, or even if, things like that. And I feel like I don't have closure because I never got to tell my side of the things that happened. Absolutely, and that feels unfair. That feels unresolved. So let's do this here. What can Amber do? What can Amber do to help herself feel better during this time? What can Amber do to help herself feel better during this time? What can Amber do to help herself feel better during this time? So we get walking away in reverse, and then we get the garden and the gate. So, to me, when I see walking away in reverse, this is us right now having to stay with our feelings and how we feel. We feel angry, we feel upset, we are going through bereavement, right? And it's not just the fact that we're feeling upset because it didn't work out. It's the fact that we're feeling upset, like Amber says, because we didn't get to finish we didn't get to tell our side of the story. There is no sense of closure. And because of that, it can feel like trying to resolve the pain is it's not there. It feels like we're trying to, we're chasing ghosts, kind of a thing. But the best thing that we can do in the situation, they didn't allow us to have closure. That doesn't mean we don't get to have it, though. We absolutely still get to have closure. It's just not through them. It's no longer through them. It's not something that we can go through. But what we can do is we can focus on ourselves, how we're feeling, and work through those emotions. Even though I get it, it's anger, it's rage, it's hurt, it's just a lot of pain. Eventually, though, that gets easier for us to understand what exactly is going on there. And we just need to stay with it. If we need to take breaks from it for a second, that's great. But if we stay with that pain, eventually it starts to decrease because we're allowing ourselves to feel something that these other people Amber is talking about are not capable of. These people aren't capable of feeling their own emotions, of letting themselves have any kind of remorse in that regard. These people are emotionally void, and it doesn't seem like it now, but the fact that we can feel is a superpower. Again, though, it doesn't feel like it right now, but because of the way that we can feel and we can move through emotions, we can eventually in our lives feel a sense of peace or contentment. Whereas these people will just continually wrong people and keep piling up the body count, so to speak. But at least we have the opportunity to self-reflect and kind of look at what's going on. Now I'm gonna do this here. Just give me 1 second here. There we go. So this right here, that link that I just posted right there talks about the bereavement cycle through relationships, not necessarily just romantic relationships, even though it does work for that too. But it talks about different stages that we go through, and knowing that each stage that you're going through is absolutely normal, and it's something. Anger is a stage that we go through. There's different stages, and it's okay to feel this way. But if we came from a place where there was narcissistic abuse, or where there was a sense of not being able to own our own emotions, there can be a feeling that anger is not safe, or that having these emotions is not safe, when in fact it is. And not only is it safe, it's normal. It's normal for us to go through these feelings. But we have to allow ourselves to go there. We have to allow ourselves to feel this. It does get easier, though. It does eventually get easier. But that's what I'm seeing here. So, and I understand, Amber, that there's a lot there that hasn't been processed, but you can use this as fuel for your kind of transformation, where instead of letting other people tell us how it is, we can start to sort of lead our own life eventually when we're feeling better. Does that help in some way, Amber? Kind of what you're going through? If you want to, you can check out that video if you want to. You don't have to. It's just kind of there as a suggestion. It's about 18 minutes long. If you feel like you want to watch something that can help with that, it might not be everyone's cup of tea. For me, though, it helped me to understand part of the process a little bit better. Let's do this though. So you're wondering about Lewis, and now I'm starting to think there's two Lewises. Was there two Lewises? One that passed, and then the one that's still kind of kicking around? Yes, they both have the same exact initials. Okay. Okay. That is uncanny. Isn't that weird? That's so weird how life works out that way. It makes me feel like there's something going on here. I don't know what yet, but we'll figure it out when we get there. But that's weird to me. That's cool. Yeah, that's super weird. That is super weird. Um. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna BRB again. I will be right back, and we'll address your second question. Okay. So everyone, keep waiting just a little bit longer, but I will be back. Okay, guys, sorry about that interruption there. Okay, so let's look into this next question here. Okay, so there should be, but mostly it's taken care of. I just have to kind of do the deed there and just block them. But yeah. That's how it is. It's what makes me feel like I'm going in the right direction. There's weird levels of pushback for no reason, so probably making some sort of difference, hopefully. It's okay, Amber. You kind of get used to it. I used to take it personally when the bots would come on, but now I just find it kind of, I don't know, sad, I guess. But that's just how it is. That's how people are. But thank you for the condolences. Jeez. Anyway. Okay, so we were doing... Let me go up here. Is Lewis happy with the person he's with? Did he ever have feelings for me? So let's look at that. Is Lewis happy with the person he's with, and did he ever have feelings for you? So is Lewis happy with the person he's with? I get distorted masculine right here. Okay. So let's call it as I'm seeing it here. Is Lewis happy with the person he's with? Lewis isn't happy. Let's put it that way. I don't feel like this person had a very energetic, high vibration, so to speak. That's what I'm feeling with this person. Did he ever have feelings for you? I feel, okay, so this is what's interesting. We get the distorted masculine for him, okay? So that's like, it's like toxic energy. It's wanting to control things. It's wanting to own or possess things. It's wanting to do stuff that's like, I'm a man, so I do it kind of a thing. It's not necessarily being someone who's kind or considerate or polite. Did he have feelings for you? I do get this card here, which is the Divine Feminine, okay? Trying to focus there. So the Divine Feminine for did he have feelings for you? I think he did, but I feel like there was a sense of control. I feel like you had a presence in the relationship that was someone who, I'm feeling like you had a strong presence in the relationship, or you had a strong energy in this kind of connection with this person. They didn't know how to handle that, and so I feel like they just go to another person. And I think we've talked about this person before, if I'm not mistaken. But what I'm feeling here more than anything is that it's kind of like, I feel like he probably goes into different relationships or into different settings. And once people have said their piece or have set boundaries or have done something along those lines, then this person's no longer interested. So that's kind of what I'm feeling with this energy. So Amber, does that make sense? And that's okay. How does he feel about you now? Let's look. Well, here's the thing. So this, Amber, and this by no means is saying, well, I'll just hold up the card. We get serendipity right here. And so how's he feeling about you now? Honestly, I'm feeling like there could be a situation where this person contacts you or this person tries to come back in your life. You have every reason to say no because of what we just talked about. But I am feeling like there could be a reunion, but you get to be a part of that decision. You can say you don't want that. I feel like this person will come in when you're feeling vulnerable, and I feel like they'll try and show you a good side at first, and then once you're kind of in too deep, you're in too deep. It's kind of like it's hard to get them out again, if that makes sense. So I'm feeling like there's something here. Probably the reason you're thinking about him is because he's thinking about you. Okay? But you get to decide if you want to have that energy in your life or not. But that's what I'm feeling here. So I would say be on the lookout, be cautious, because if this person tries to come back, I do get a pretty strong feeling that they're not going to want to talk about what happened in the past. They're not going to want to resolve anything. It's going to be like, let's focus on the present moment, and that doesn't work. You have to address things that happened in the past. You have to. That's kind of how it works. But that that's what I'm seeing for that situation, Amber. Does that help answer your questions? See with another girl? I'll do 3 shuffles here and we'll see what comes up. There was 1. There's 2. And here is 3. So I get this card right here. It is the abundance card. So I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm feeling like he's either with one other person or maybe there's a couple people that he's going between here. When I get the abundance card on that question, that to me feels like there could be a little bit more connecting all around, so to speak. So there could be 1, 2, maybe more. I'm not sure, but it does feel like he's definitely with one person. So that's what I'm seeing here. At least one person is what I'm seeing. Does that help address the questions, Amber, for you? Let's see here. You're very welcome, Amber. Very, very welcome. Okay, Tay, I know it's been a minute, and I like to take my time on some of these questions, so it is your turn, Tay. Are you still there? And you're very welcome, Amber. Very, very welcome. Okay, let's look at that. Thank you, Tay, for being so patient. I really appreciate that. And let's see what we can get here. So we'll use these cards here. These are the True Love Tarot cards. Okay, and so let's see. Just wanted to know how my ex Jason feels about me. So how does Tay Marie's ex Jason feel about her? How does Tay Marie's ex Jason feel about her? Okay. How does Tay Marie's ex Jason feel about her? Okay. So I get these two cards here. We get abundance, and then we get reparenting yourself. And when we get these two cards here, what I'm seeing is hold on one second. Write this down. Tay Marie, is it okay if I connect with you psychically? I'll talk about these cards too. But this right here is interesting. So abundance and then reparenting yourself. I'm wondering here if, because I feel like he still has feelings here. It feels like there's still feelings here. The reparenting yourself, though, I'm wondering if maybe he's trying to maybe look into something. Maybe he's trying to look into what exactly is going on with him. Did he have a did he have like an irrational kind of anger when he left? Or what happened exactly? I mean, you don't have to tell me, but I can try connecting psychically and see what I can get that way, if you're okay with that. Feels okay. So oh, okay, that makes sense. So literally, okay, now I can read these a little bit more. And I'm sorry that happened to you, Marie. That is unbelievable right there. That's messed up. So the reparenting yourself part, okay. So the anger part makes sense because I'm seeing someone who's almost like smashing their fists on the table. I'm feeling like there is still feelings here. Hey Alexandra, I'm doing good. How are you? There's still feelings here, but this person refuses to acknowledge that. I feel like in that scenario, obviously they're in the wrong. Let me look here. You do a little bit more looking. Marie, who's the are either you or him a Sagittarius? I was feeling Sagittarius for some reason. You're Sagittarius, okay. So I was feeling that energy, and then I'm feeling, is your so my he's Aquarius, okay. So my stomach on the right hand side, right underneath, it's just kind of like I felt pain in my right side underneath. I guess right over where my pants would sit if I was wearing. I am wearing pants. I came out wrong. Anyway, I felt pain in my stomach. Are you experiencing any pain in your stomach, or any sensations in your stomach? Yes, it has, Alexandra. Sometimes, okay. So the anger and this going on here was what I'm feeling. You should have every right what you want to do. I do feel with this person there's still an attachment here from them to you. I do feel like they still think about you, but there's a tendency for this person. Is this the first time this person has like stormed out of your life? How long were you guys together for? I'm just curious with this. Is this the first time he's done something like this, or has he left you kind of by yourself over something before? Okay, so basically, Jason decides to hightail it whenever things in the relationship don't exactly go the way he would want them to, right? And he decides to kind of abandon people when they need him, is kind of what I'm feeling from this. Because right now, you shouldn't be going through this alone. Kind of regardless, the emotional support, having somebody there would actually be pretty nice to have right now, I would feel. Yeah. Okay, so with him, Tay, I want to say this for you, okay? So second time leaving within 6 months. So this person, whenever things will get serious or whenever things become real in any way, this person will just leave. They will straight up leave. And literally the decision, I'm he got you pregnant, okay? But him not wanting to or him wanting to have a say in your body at what happens after that point, and him wanting to do that, ultimately that's a choice you would make as a couple, but he didn't even let you make that choice. He just said okay and left. He just said goodbye, and that's not right. That's something that I feel I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm getting a little upset here. um, but you don't deserve that. And I feel like if you, I'm going to calm myself down here for a second. Um, if he wants to ruin someone else's life, I can look at that. But if he wants to ruin someone else's life, it sounds like that person is going to be in a lot more trouble than you are, I would feel, because that's not right. You don't do that to people. Let me see if he's happy with that girl. Even though to me this sounds like someone with narcissism or narcissistic traits, which means I don't think they're able to feel happiness the way we can feel it. This is someone who is kind of like a void emotionally, so it's like it's kind of like it's kind of like asking if a rock is happy. You know, to me this, yeah, because these kinds of people, you don't just do that. But let me look at that for you, Tay. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not right. And he'll have the mindset of a 4-year-old probably for the rest of his life, because men aren't told to be accountable in major ways in society. They're told to go out and to do things that are apprehensible, and then they're rewarded for it. And I'm sorry you had to go through this with this person, because that's not right. So is he happy with this other woman? It's great. It's great if you go from relationship to relationship before things get serious, which seems to be what this person does. And as soon as there's any sign of seriousness, this person just says bye. So let's look at this. So I got this card here. I got the distorted masculine in reverse. And when I see this in reverse, in this scenario, what I feel like is going on is this person, look at this and you can kind of tell me what you see. Okay. You see war, you see a helmet, you see a smogged city, you see everything just kind of crumbling around this person. That's what I feel like this person does. He comes into a situation and he messes things up. So I feel like for now, I don't feel like there's happiness. But for now, I feel like this person feels like they can kind of do whatever they want and there's no consequences. And so I would say now he feels pretty carefree with everything. But that's obviously that's not right with this scenario. So what I would say with this person is that when it comes to realness, they will leave. They don't want that. They want to have a party atmosphere all the time. They want to be this party person that has no responsibilities, and as soon as any kind of responsibility comes up, they're just going to run from it. And I'm sorry you got involved with this kind of person, because obviously that's not fun. You wanted to have someone, a partner, you wanted to have someone there for you, and I'm sorry that's not the case. But that's what I'm feeling from this connection. I still feel like there's parts of a connection here, but I feel like he will just leave again whenever he wants. I feel like he will come in and he'll be there whenever he wants to be there, and then he will leave. Absolutely. Yes, he loves to party and drink. So that's going to be his life. That's going to be what he wants to do. And that's on him, because he's going to miss out on something that's special and that's beautiful because he's off doing really shallow and vapid things with who knows what, right? And I'm sorry you have to experience that. But that's on him. He'll never get to be in a world where there's maturity, and eventually you get old enough, that party look, it doesn't look good anymore. Eventually there needs to be maturity, there needs to be wisdom, there needs to be knowledge. And he's not going to have that when he gets older. So I'll do a little bit more on will he be a no-show. I'll draw these cards here just to make sure. Will he be a no-show? Let's see. Will he be a no-show? So I get this card right here. It's woman holding a heart in reverse. So yeah. When I see that card, I feel like if he ever does come back into your life, it's not going to be for a reason of family or connection. This person doesn't know how to prioritize important things in their life. So if this person tries to come back, I feel like it's going to be to use you or someone else. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but I don't get a good feeling with this person. And I'm sorry that's the case, Tay. I really am sorry that is the case. But that's what I'm seeing with the cards here, and that's what I'm feeling. And I've talked with other people Um, and I'm just sorry that's the case. But kudos to you, Tay, for taking control of your body and saying what you wanted, and even with the consequences, sticking to your guns. Hi, Marine PhD. Yeah, it's me. Have you been on here before? But that takes courage and that takes resolve, Tay, and I admire you for that, to be able to do what you feel was right in that situation. You're very welcome, Tay. You're very welcome. I wish you all the best, okay, my friend? Okay, Jamie Lee, right on time. That was pretty perfect timing. Okay, do you want to ask your questions? You're very welcome, my friend. Very, very welcome. I wish you all the best. I really do. Oh, you've been here. Okay, I thought you were off doing something else. Okay, we got our first question here. Okay, you want me to just address the first one? We can do that. Let's do that. So what our main, let's see. I don't know how to say that name phonetically, so I will just call him MQ. Okay, what are MQ's true feelings and intentions towards you? Or MQ's? Okay, perfect. Well, you're in luck because I've got an endless supply of MQs that I can use. No, you're good. You are so good. Don't worry about it, Jamie Lee. You are just fine. All right, Jamie Lee, let's see what we get here. So, what are MQ's intentions towards you? There we go. That's a good card. We have serendipity right there. So, that's kind of like free-flowing connection, kind of an energy where things kind of just happen, things flow, things kind of go in that way, so to speak. And then we have the Rainbow Reviver as well, and I'm feeling spirit here on the fingertips, on my fingertips. So I feel like the intentions here are good. I get a feeling that these intentions are good, and that maybe this person could help inspire us or can help us in some way. I don't know if that's anything that's going on here. The Rainbow Reviver to me is like feeling inspired and feeling like we can be creative again, like flowing with that creative energy. And then the serendipity is again in the flow state. So, Jamie Lee, can you tell me, does that make sense with these two cards here? Also, I will be right back. Please type, Jamie Lee, what you need to type, and I will be back. Hold on. Okay, perfect. Perfect, Jamie Lee. So then I'm feeling like there's definitely a connection here. I get a strong feeling of a connection. And Marine PhD, your colleague talks a lot about you, and she told us your name today. Oh, well, that's nice. That's really nice. And so, yeah, it is me, the one and only. And that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. Um, okay, so Jamie, we addressed the first question here. What is your second question? Because definitely there's some vibes here, some good vibes. I feel like this is a really good connection. So keep it going, keep that connection strong. Which I feel like is easy because all you have to do is just be yourself and just allow yourself to feel what's going on there. So go for question number 2. It seemed to me like it was heading in the romantic direction, but I can look a little bit more. Is that your second question? Or did you have another second question? Does it seem like it's heading in a romantic direction? I can look a little bit here. Let's see, Jamie. Let's see what we got here. All right, you are welcome, Jamie Lee. No problem. Okay. Does it seem like it's heading in a romantic direction? So let's see. Is it heading in a romantic direction? So right now, Jamie Lee, I do feel like there's a connection here, and I feel like it's strong. But right now, I feel like it's kind of like you're getting to know each other and you're getting to understand each other more. I get luminosity in reverse. So I feel like he doesn't fully understand you. He doesn't fully understand the connection just yet. He's more of the go with the flow type, and so maybe he doesn't want to label anything. He wants things to play their course. He wants things to work out the way they're meant to work out. And he's not going to force anything. He's not going to try to force anything. So right now, whatever you guys have, that's what you have. And that's what I'm feeling is going to be the theme of it going forward. I do feel there's a connection there. I do feel a connection, but it's up to kind of the whims of fate, I guess you could say, to make this a stronger connection. Keep communicating with him, keep talking with him, and let him know. Like don't put pressure on him to say anything or to do anything. Let this kind of play out the way it needs to, and I feel like that would be a good way to sort of show him who you are as a person. Just let things play out, let things kind of see where things go in that way. I feel like there's potential here for a connection, but it also feels like it's kind of a young and it's a tender kind of connection right now. So you need to um, sort of let yourself slowly ease into even talking about this kind of stuff because right now it feels kind of tender would be the way I would describe it. Does that make sense to you, Jamie? Give it time. Give it time, Jamie Lee, please. Please give it time. I understand. I understand there's like this feeling of love, there's this feeling of like wanting to connect, but just give it more time. Let things kind of play out. He's a Pisces, so he can't take pressure. You're right. Yeah, I've never known a Pisces who could take pressure. So that's something though. Just let the slippery fish keep swimming around. Get to know each other a little bit better. Get to understand each other organically. The best kind of relationship is when you start out as friends first, and then there's a relationship possibility after that. That's usually when you have a really good relationship. You're good friends at first, and then you marry your best friend or you marry your friend. Anyway, it's a good way to start. And so that's what I'm seeing there. So what would be your third question, Jamie Lee? That is very specific. Let's look. What are Kenneth's feelings and actions towards me before the end of June? So let's look here. How's Moon Honey doing, Jamie Lee? I haven't seen her on for a little bit, at least on my live. are Kenneth's feelings and actions towards me for the end of June? So let's look at his feelings and let's look at his actions. That's good that she took a break. Awesome. I love to hear that she's taking breaks because this is hard work to do. And when you're doing it as much as she is, so that's good that she's taking breaks. Perfect. Perfect. That's awesome. Love to hear that. Taking time for herself. Realizing that's important. Okay. Okay, so Jamie Lee, let's look at this here. So what are Kenneth's feelings? And then what are his actions? Yeah, I can understand that. She burns the candle at both ends. I was giving her messages from Spirit where it's like, let yourself breathe, let yourself take a break because she's, you know, it's that Capricorn. I think she's a Capricorn. It's that Capricorn energy of like work, 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 almost like a workaholic. And yeah, I can understand that. So his actions towards you, or his, let's see, what did you say? How did you say it exactly? Because that's what I did. What are Kenneth's feelings and actions? So his feelings towards you are the distorted masculine in reverse. Okay. So to me, this is someone who I feel like Kenneth doesn't necessarily get it. But that's what I'm feeling here. So you can tell me if Kenneth is this kind of person or not. But when I see the distorted masculine in reverse, it's making me feel like there could be a tendency towards this person to ignore, I guess, people, right? Or maybe to have avoidant tendencies with Kenneth. Because then his feelings towards you are also abundance in reverse. And so I'm feeling like there's a sense of, or his actions towards you are abundance in reverse. So right here, Marine, PhD, if you look over on the left side of my video, there's a number that comes up with by a YouTube symbol. It's on the left. It's right over here. It's right over here. There we go. That number right there says how many people are watching. Not necessarily in on the conversation, but right now I'm just reading one person, so it's just me talking to Jamie Lee. He does have avoidant tendencies. So when I see abundance in reverse here, it's making me feel like these actions that we're talking about, I don't feel like he's going to take any action. It feels like he's someone who kind of stands off in the distance. He waits for things to come to him. That's the kind of feeling that I'm getting. It's kind of like having someone fold their arms and he's waiting. So abundance in reverse would be kind of like someone who doesn't necessarily see things for how they are. So it's someone who doesn't, it's kind of the opposite of the other guy. It's like this guy tries to force situations or tries to force scenarios, but he also wants people to come to him. The other person is more go with the flow kind of an energy and isn't like this. And so that's what I'm feeling here, is that there's a blockage with Kenneth's energy towards action. Or rather, Kenneth will not take action. There will be inaction on Kenneth's part. That's what I'm feeling here. Does that make sense, Jamie Lee? Okay. So hopefully that helps answer those questions. It seems like things are going well, though, with the other person. Kenneth, though, I don't think he knows what he's missing. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting with old Kenneth. Most of the time, people can change. I'm not saying they can't, but generally it's difficult for people once they hit a certain age. They have to change because they want to, and a lot of people do not want to. You're very welcome, Jamie Lee. Very, very welcome. Thank you for coming on the channel again. It's been a while since I saw you, so it was nice to see you again. Okay, what time is it? Welcome to Forever Being a Man Boy. That's good. That's good. Focus on work. Let yourself, lose yourself in the process. I think that's a good thing. So I'm thinking that right there is my list. I've read everybody that's come on. Yes, Man Boy, 100%. We'll trademark that. We'll put it on T-shirts, and we'll make all the Man Boy men wear them. It'll be beautiful. They'll only come in one size, Man Boy size, and yeah. You're very welcome, Jamie Lee. Thank you again, and you have a good weekend too. I don't know if she's... Man, boy, boy, man, the whole thing. The whole thing. Immature toddler child. Well, so Marine, I can't tell you if she's here or not. I can tell you, I don't think she is, but on my end, I cannot see who's here. I can see some people who are here, but I can't see everybody that's here. So I don't know. I don't know if she's here or not. If you feel like you have a question you want to post that you do not want to be public, then you can go through my website and you can book a question reading that way, and then that way everything's private. Yes, grow up all we must. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you feel more comfortable that way, Marine, we could totally do that, because I understand sometimes putting your question out there can be vulnerable. But I have my website in the link down below, and you could look at doing a question there if that would be more comfortable for you. Because I'm actually getting ready to sail off into that distant night, if you get my drift. And I can't say for sure who's here and who's not, so I don't want you to feel like... I wish I could see too, but I can't. I have a very limited view of who's on. Trust me, Quantum. They've already been on the channel twice, so nobody else saw their comments, but I did. Trolls and bots all around, so I'll stay as safe as I can. But yeah, yes, they are. That's kind of how it goes sometimes. They definitely are getting evil. That's one way of putting it. There we go. So, Marine, Would that work for you? Just so that you can feel extra safe that way? Thank you, Quantum. I learned the hard way. My smarts came from a lot of dumbness. But that's the only way you really learn, right? You got to be dumb at some point, and then you can learn. But thank you for the compliment, Quantum. I appreciate that. Okay, guys. Very true, Quantum. Very true. So I'm thinking I'm gonna call it good here, and I will see you guys on Monday. Gonna take me a nice little weekend break here, and be back on Monday, filled with all the piss and vinegar you guys can stomach. It'll be amazing. But yeah, so you guys take care, be safe, and just keep that head on your shoulders, okay, guys? I will see you all on Monday. Take care, everybody.